Is ADA going to fall further down? Well, I'm looking at the daily chart for ADA right now, and I can tell you there's several reasons that indicate it might, and not very many that indicate that price is going to be moving up anytime soon. Let's talk about that now. Ever since January, or toward the end of December, rather, we've been experiencing a downtrend across many, well, pretty much across all of crypto. Many of the altcoins have been following Bitcoin in its downward path. We have been seeing the absolute definition of a downtrend, which is a high here, a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, and perhaps a lower low coming up here in the next few days. You can see the downtrend by this line right here. And ADA is not the only coin experiencing this downtrend. I want to be clear about that. I cover several coins on this channel. VET, just did a video on VET. Look at that. Doge is in its own downtrend. Avalanche, as strong as it's been, is in its own downtrend. As even strong as Solana has been, I will be doing a video on this one later today. Look at this rising channel that Solana has been in since November. It also suffers from a downtrend here and has poked out toward the bottom here. If it breaks this level right here of about 87.5, it's going to enter this range right here. And probably that would be the first time it has broken this downtrend in about 2.5 months. So ADA is not the only coin experiencing a downtrend. It's being caused by Bitcoin. Bitcoin was in this upward rising channel since December. It has held well. I see a broadening formation, which is now we've gone out of the top of this channel and now out of the bottom of this channel, which soon is going to make this channel useless. But up to this point, this channel is still holding pretty well. And this is what I mean. Over the last few days, I have been making videos about us watching the bottom of this channel as it looked like Bitcoin was going to fall out of the bottom. My supposition was that we could either go directly to 40,000, or we might even get a bounce up to 44, 45 before going down to 40,000. Either way, my thought was we were definitely going to hit 40,000 before we made any higher highs or even hit the top of this channel again. Basically, what we have done is fallen out of the bottom of this channel. We haven't quite hit 40,000. We're at about, the low was about 40,258 on my chart. But it's funny how the top of this day yesterday was almost at the bottom of this rising channel, which means this line still holds some importance in the market. This is a very important line right now. Bitcoin, for it to make higher highs, has to get back into this channel. And until it does, I expect there still to be more downward pressure on ADA. Now, what ADA has done is almost textbook price action. I've already mentioned the higher or lower highs and lower lows. You can see we almost tagged this 0.46 level. What did we get? 0.47 basically. And then everything was bought up. It made a nice rise up about above 0.50 yesterday, which is nice to see. I'm a holder of ADA. I want ADA to go very high. So I'm hoping it will. But the fact of the matter is, so far it's only risen up into this level, which was support and is now resistance. And until it breaks above this level, then I have no hope really that we're not going to go and make lower lows, especially if Bitcoin heads to 40,000. Be careful. Do not be fooled. There's several things that have to happen to prove my theory wrong. Right now, my theory is we are still in a downtrend on the short term, okay? On the short term, we're still in a downtrend. My theory is Bitcoin's still going to challenge 40,000 and maybe even break it and go to 38 to 40. If that happens, I feel like ADA is going to be pulled down into this level, which is about 0.40 to 0.46. If Bitcoin breaks 40,000, I think we'll visit some parts of this range, maybe not all of it, but I do think we'll dip down into it quite fiercely. Now, let's be careful here. Let's take a zoom out, okay? We were back in October at 0.25 for ADA. Even now, as we stand, after we've experienced these drawdowns in January, we're still 2 times where we were in October. So this is not a negative Nelly video. This is not a woe is me, ADA's going to the floor video. This is just what we're seeing right now video, okay? And we still have to be pleased that we have had a fantastic run up in October up to December. We almost went up 2.5 times. If you've been holding or pulled or bought or added any during really 2023, for the most part, you're positive right now. Okay, so you've got to be pleased with that. But what I'm telling you is I see some further downward pressure. Continuous downward pressure might be a good time if you're so inclined to buy more ADA to pick some up right around here. Doesn't mean we won't fall further, but look, if you can get it at a discount of 0.4 instead of 0.5, well, that's a 20% better price, so that's good. But some things have to happen before this downward, before we have evidence that this downward trend is breaking. First, for ADA, we have to get above this downward trend line, okay? And we have to do that for any coin that you're watching that has this downward trend line. I just did a video on VET. It's got a downward trend line. Solana, DOT, yep, Matic. Look at all these downward trend lines we have on these coins. So ADA's got to get above this downtrend line before there's any hope of it going higher. And it needs to close above this level, which was resistance and or was support and is now resistance. It needs to close above 0.54, really 0.55, and stay above 0.55. It needs to get to this level and stay. It can't just spike up into this level and fall. That would just prove that there's sellers at that level and that we're not ready to kick that door in yet. Okay, so we need to get above and close. Do not be fooled with this. Do not be fooled with this price movement. We might see this over the weekend. We might see this over the next few days or next week. Do not be fooled by that. I'm giving you two indications of what you got to watch for to give any evidence that this downtrend has been broken and that we're at least out of that particular downtrend. Wouldn't mean we wouldn't fall into it again, but that's what we're trying to do, is put the probabilities in our favor. We don't want to trade until we see something happening that makes sense to the patterns that are being presented in the market to give us some probabilities that price will go up. Okay, it's a probability thing, not a guarantee thing. So don't be fooled by that. And until we do close above this downward trend line, there's just downward pressure in the market. It's being seen in Bitcoin. It's being seen across altcoins, also with Bitcoin. Don't be fooled by this. For Bitcoin to reverse this downtrend, it's got to get above 45,000 and also close. 45,000 is a key number to making higher highs. Now, it's kind of like you have to have a launching pad, right? You have to have something for price to base off of and to launch from to give it a good push upward, to give it some momentum. I mean, look where we were. I mean, we ranged in October, November in Bitcoin for a while, right around here before we launched, right? It had to base. Then we saw the launch. Even back here in, I mean, what was it? Look at this launching pad right here it built. From August, look at this. We had to have our patience pants on, guys. We ranged between 25 and 28 for August, 3-4 months before we launched. And that's what I mean. I don't mean this base has to be this long. That's not that big of a pattern structure we're seeing. I'm just saying we got to get above here, set a base before we're going to make higher highs. Don't be fooled by a bounce up and then down. Back to ADA. Don't be fooled by that. Okay, don't be fooled. We've got to get above that trend line solidly and solidly above 0.05 for us to go higher. Until then, there's down pressure and we have to expect downward movement. Hope that makes sense. That's my update on ADA. Be sure to check back. I'll keep you updated on the price movement as I watch them across ADA and other coins. Be careful out there. Be safe. Trade well. I'll talk to you later.